Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and today, post-Christmas, we are getting right back into steaks because we're doing the final drawing, the Silver Oak Big Bottle, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about a very rare combination, which is Beaujolais cru wines with steak, and I also thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about individuality in wine. As you can tell, I'm sipping along a white wine. I'll get into this in a second as we get to the more comfy setting. But here we are outside in the beautiful Jersey weather, making some steaks. We're going to cut through all three of these steaks, match them up with the wines inside, do the drawing, talk about Christmas, and move on. So get ready and we'll be back with you in a quick second. Alright, we're back here now and we've finally cooked the steaks, and we've got the big bottle here, and we've got the big ass glass here, and we are very much ready to focus in on these three great steaks from Montana Legend. And once again, and finally, just a huge shout out to Montana Legend, because they're the ones who are coming through and giving you these $1,500 bottle drawings. So big shout out to them, and I really want to focus on their product, because over the holidays I was able to dig into it, taste it a little bit. We've cooked it up again, and so I've got a ribeye, a filet, and a New York strip here, and I'm going to jump into it. I think one thing that you need to realize, and what we made a comment the other day about, which is we're going to focus on food. For example, we have the shallots confit today, which is something the gourmet people were screaming and yelling that I put on the show because it goes great with steak, is that we're going to really break down food as much in 08 as we did with, the wine. So we're going to jump into the cheeses very heavily, olive oils when it poses the opportunity. But today we're focusing on Montana Legend's steaks. Mott, link it up. We need to give them a big shout out. And if everybody could please check out their site, I mean, I think I owe them. And so for that. But really, really great stuff. And right off the bat, what it really surprised me, and I'll have the one that I've had in the past, which is what is this? Help me now. Filet. Thank you. Really outrageous stuff. Obviously the filet being the best part of the, steak, and just so clean, so smooth, a lot of characteristics, very creamy, really, on the back end even. For me, I'm all about the Pittsburgh style, even though I hate the Steelers as much as anybody else. I really like the charness on the outside and the black and the blue in the middle. This is more of a medium rare combo, but very clean, very pure products. Just delicious meats. I mean, really grow great with lots of Cabernets and Bordeauxs. The wine I brought you today, as I jump a little bit now to the wine side, that I want to focus on today's episode is the Chateau de Jacques Moulin Avant from Louis Jadot, which is a 91-point Wine Spectator Beaujolais, $18. Now, most people, just like a lot of people got freaked out with the dessert wine that we did with steaks the other day, most people do not associate Beaujolais with steak. As a matter of fact, most people don't associate Beaujolais with wine. They think it's junk because many people focus on Beaujolais Nouveau or the Beaujolais Village. But cru Beaujolais like this really act as top-notch Burgundies. Don't forget, Beaujolais is within the Burgundy region. So they are very serious wines made from this grape of Gamay that this wine has. Now, what I like about Gamay and Beaujolais with steak is the fruitiness that the Gamay brings to the table. I think goes extremely well with the steak. Now, on the snippy sniff on this wine, I get some really nice roasted peppers, slight level of cranberries. There's also a little touch of almost like black licorice reduction sauce, which I always like, which I always think brings a lot to the table. Let's give it a whirl. You'll be completely taken aback by the intensity of the violets and the cranberries on this wine. Has great body. Really reminds me of what's great about Pinot Noir and what's great about, let's say, a Shiraz. It's an imaginary blend in my mind, these cru Gamay wines, of taking a little bit of Pinot Noir and mixing it with a little bit of Barossa Valley Shiraz. You've still got the elegance of Burgundy and of Pinot Noir, but you got the fruit and the explosiveness of the New World. Now, for me, this is where the strip comes in. With the New York strip, I think that this type of wine with this kind of body, given that the strip's a little calmer than, let's say, filet, is a really great combo. Now, I love talking with my mouth open, right, Mom? Anyway, I love the tenderness of the strip, and I love how, there's that chewy, rawhide kind of component that a steak brings to the table. And this is where the Gamay can really add a layer, where filet is kind of needing a little bit more Oak Monster. I find that the strip goes extremely well with the Gamay aspects. This wine is solid. It's actually a little overrated in my opinion by the Wine Spectator, but let me just give it one more whirl. It's got some great tannin structure and some really nice back-end cranberry flavor, but I do believe it has a hollow mid-palate, which bothers me a little bit. Now, you all are wondering who's going to win this, so I think I'm going to jump into that drawing, and then I'm going to get into something very interesting, something a lot of you have been talking about. This is a decanter, and yes, this is white wine. So we talk about decanting white wine, and I'm about to show you a wine, that's really individuality in the wine world, because this wine, I'll show it to you now, the Matassa from Cuvée Marguerite is a 50% Viognier, 50% Muscat blend that rolls in at $34 US. Lamont Jordan's number. One of my favorite Jets. Anyway, 34 bones, expensive. Viognier, Muscat, Southwest France varietal. And I'm going to tell you something really interesting about this wine. This wine is hated by virtually every person on the Wine Library staff. But I adore it. And I brought it in to really bring to a lot of people that are interested in complex white wines or white wines that actually need to be decanted. So I'll get to you in a second with that, with the ribeye. But right now there are 1,200 of you waiting to win a $1,500 bottle of wine. And Mott, don't you think it's kind of funny that we can get only like 100 comments for like the Christmas pack, the heart and soul, the holiday season? We all love each other. 100 comments. But when we're giving something away, 1,200 comments. Does that speak volumes about the American thought process? Anyway, the winner of the $1,500 signed 1992 Silver Oak Alexander Cabernet that is brought to you by Montana Legend Steaks, so big ups to those guys, is, and we need you to contact me, so please send me an email, gary@winelibrary.com, is Drink and Trade. Is that like two people? Do they have to like share it? Do I have to get like 2-3 liters? So Drink and or Trade, please contact me. Congratulations. And again, it was so much fun to have like the first loser last time, Mott. That was a lot of fun. She emailed me, we sent out something for her. So today's first loser, which is, devastating because in theory, I could have babbled a little more and then you could have gotten the $1,500 bottle, is Jason Carey. Ooh, a good Vaniac too. That's a tough blow, JC. Sorry, man. Contact me. We'll send you like a pin or something or a smiley face. Anyway, Drink or Trade, congratulations. This is a heavy bottle of wine. You will enjoy that. Hopefully, you're a Jersey resident. We can just have you pick it up. Anyway, let's move on and let's talk about individuality in wine. One of the biggest things that I want to talk about today on the show, given it's like post-holidays, it's interesting, having a lot of fun, is what I think about wine. I think a lot of people, I got very lucky and got to read a lot of, blog posts and what people are saying about the Thunder Show yesterday on the relaxation day, kind of. And not that I'm worried, but I think one thing that people need to realize is that, as much fun as I have with this product and as much as, I'm goofy and we'll talk about the Jets and Scream and Sniffy Sniff and all that, this is my passion. I adore wine. I've been doing this, since I was 15, 16 years old. More than half my life I've been in the wine world, and I've taken it very seriously. As a matter of fact, when I was like 21, 22, I thought I'd become a master of wine, but I'm really not a nerd enough to pull that off. So, I went in a little bit of a different direction. However, one thing that is been imperative for me, and the reason I started Wine Library TV, is to give people a sense of wine individuality, some self-esteem, to drink and try different things. You see me drinking pink wine. You see me drinking wine out of a box. You see me drinking all sorts of wines. And I'm not scared because I know my own palate and I trust my palate. And of everything I talk about on the Thunder Show, that's what I want you to embrace more than anything else. That and trying different things. I'm talking to you, Santa Margarita drinking woman. I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. So this wine really hits me. I think it's a white wine that goes with steak, which makes it kind of interesting. And it's a wine that is probably the single most controversial wine that I brought into Wine Library this year. And I bought it because I loved it. And then when the staff got to taste it, they actually started throwing up all over each other. Like that movie Stand By Me, that skip part. I mean, they were throwing up on themselves. They hated it. They were laughing. They were wondering what clown brought it in. Well, boop, boop, it was me. And the reason I brought it in, and I'm going to tell you right now, is a couple different reasons. Now, first of all, this is a white wine that needs to be decanted. Not can be decanted, but needs to be decanted. So right off the top, that makes it very unusual. Now, older white Burgundies I think do well. Some Rhone varietals I think do really well. So to answer the question that many of you email me a day, yes, white wines can be decanted and can benefit, really when they're awkward and different. A Viognier Muscat blend is extremely awkward and different. And I think the part that really bothered most of the staff was the nose, which really comes off awkward. On the snippy sniff, now, it's really interesting because this is already evolved in the decanter, but popping out of the bottle, which is probably how the staff smelt it, there was almost like a mustard meets, like stink bomb. Remember the one in the glass? It actually even has this color, the liquid of a stink bomb, which is kind of funny. Almost tuna fish-esque, just very awkward, and people were really bothered by the wine as a whole. Now, after being decanted and open for a while, what's really interesting about this wine is it's bringing on a smokiness, a very heavy smokiness, which I think is what leans me towards pairing it with steak. There's also a gorgeous lemon component coming through. But the smokiness is actually almost, Mott, relax there. The smokiness is almost unavoidable and is really at the forefront. There's also some gooseberry as well and a little star fruit coming through as well. There's also hints of, and this is another thing that I think could bother people, a fishy kind of, not fish, almost like a Dover sole or a trout kind of component. I mean, I almost smell, to me, I feel like I'm smelling a Greek fish restaurant product. So, like a grilled fish with lemons on it. I mean, that's really where it sums up. So it's a very awkward nose. On the mouthfeel, again, the acidity rips apart your palate. Like, oh man, I'm in a Giants house right now, so I'll say it. Almost like our boy Brandon Jacobs running through, small little cornerbacks. That's how this wine runs and rips right through your palate, which is quite impressive. Now, it's loaded with an amazing amount of acidity, almost like a citrus explosion at the core ends of the outside of your palate. And then it gets into a very velvety, long length, cream, lemon, fishy kind of component, which is extremely elegant. This is a very serious white wine. This is a nerd white wine. This is a white wine that I would only recommend to top sommeliers or wine drinkers that I know are comfortable in their own skin. Because people that are just getting into wine or looking for a little fruit and a happy are not going to enjoy this wine. This is thought-provoking, complicated, and very awkward white wine that really hits the palates of people that are looking for second, third, fourth, 10th tier, outside the box flavors, because we've drank every Chardonnay based wine or Sauvignon Blanc or Riesling, and we've experienced white wines from the Rhone. This gives us an experience we've not had before. And so for this reason, I love this wine. I adore this wine. To me, this is a wine that you can put away for 5 to 10 years and watch it evolve. It's got white Burgundy kind of characteristics to it on its weight and its complexity, but almost like Rhone and Alsatian kind of flavor profiles. Just a totally different wine. And so am I saying that I'm much cooler and have a better palate and much smarter and better looking and just overall awesomer than the entire wine staff at Wine Library? I am. But that's okay. They'll watch this and they'll be sad for a couple minutes, but then we'll hug and we'll make up for it. But what's most important about this white wine is how it pairs. And so let's say with a ribeye, we're going to have a lot of complex flavors and things of that nature. And let's throw on, the shallots. And let's throw in the shallot confit. We're talking about a mass amount of flavors right now in your palate, but a white wine that would normally just disappear and not be able to stand up, and that's why we normally go red on steaks, hopefully, and I'm thinking, not only does this white wine stand up, it punks it directly in the face and ends the fight in 2 seconds. This is a massive, complex white wine that really needs to be looked at and thought about on a totally different level. And you have wines like this from Graviner, from Italy. You have Graviner and you have Radicon. These different, awkward, outside-the-box white wines, and I find the Matassa to be part of that. The steaks are rocking. I want to thank everybody who widgets us up. Mott, it's right over here. I appreciate that. I saw a bunch of you putting up Wine Library TV widgets. I appreciate that. And most importantly, I'm just hoping that everybody recognizes that this week, not only this week, heck, your whole life, but especially this week, it's a great opportunity to get together with family. I hope you all enjoyed the Christmas pack yesterday. I saw a lot of you left comments. That's a lot of fun. And more importantly, I've got to ask you a question today because that's what we do. And so my question today to you today is, what are you drinking for New Year's? And it better be grower champagne. Because you, this is a little bit further away. I want to see. Look at that. With a little bit of me and Montana Legend. Please check these guys out. I'm really impressed with their steaks. You know I would never put a product on here if I didn't think it was great. And plus, somebody got a free silver oak. And the first loser was funny. We're changing the wine world.